How long will the US and Israel's airstrikes against Iran actually last? Are we talking about a few days, a few weeks, or the start of something much bigger? Here's what we know so far. The US and Israel have launched major airstrikes targeting Iran's military infrastructure, missile systems, and leadership positions. However, early reports from US and Israeli officials suggest this is not just a one-day operation. Some officials say the initial phase could last a few days, focusing on high-priority targets like missile launch sites and air defences. But more recent reports indicate the broader military campaign could last for several weeks. That's because these operations usually happen in multiple phases. The number one priority appears to have been Iran's missile capabilities. Strikes reportedly hit ballistic missile launch sites, underground missile storage facilities, drone launch bases, and missile production infrastructure. The goal here is simple: reduce Iran's ability to retaliate and to limit its long-range strike capability. These systems are considered the backbone of Iran's conventional military deterrence. The target list would then expand to include Revolutionary Guard and Military Command, air defense systems, nuclear-related infrastructure, leadership, and high-value targets. This includes strikes targeting senior military leadership locations, one of which has killed multiple senior figures, including the country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. But the real clock on this conflict doesn't depend on the US or Israel, as the biggest factor that could extend the timeline is Iran's retaliation. Because once retaliation begins, everything changes. Iran has already launched counterstrikes, and every retaliation increases the risk of escalation. More retaliation leads to more strikes lead to more retaliation, and that's how these conflicts expand. Right now, there are three realistic scenarios. The strikes end in a matter of days once key targets are destroyed. The campaign continues for weeks as both sides continue limited military exchanges. This would involve Iran continuing to launch ballistic missiles and drone swarms at Israeli and US military bases in an attempt to overwhelm their air defences. Iran has already used this playbook before. It allows for retaliation while staying below the threshold for total war. It's a high-risk strategy, but still contains the conflict to the Gulf area. A wider regional conflict would involve Iran activating allied groups across the region, such as Hezbollah in Lebanon, their militias in Iraq and Syria, and the Houthis in Yemen. Collectively, these groups could strike a wide range of targets, including US forces across the Middle East, commercial targets in the Gulf including shipping, as well as Israel itself. This would be the worst-case scenario, as it carries with it a high risk of the conflict turning into a major regional war, which would be devastating. Right now, the most realistic expectation is that the strikes will continue for at least several days to weeks. But this is a fast-moving situation, and the duration of this conflict could change quickly. If you found this video useful, please subscribe, hit like, and I'll catch you in the next one.